Hi, this is Alex again, and in this video I'm going to be talking a little bit about patterns for plushies, and then also the fabrics that you can use, armatures if you want to give your plushie a skeleton. So that part is not necessary, it's totally optional, but we'll talk about why you may want to do that. So this right here is the pattern that I have created for my plushies, for my human-shaped plushies. As you can see, it's about 3.5 inches, about 2.5 inches here. So grand total gives you a total height of about 6 inches on one of your plushies. Now if you wanted to, you could also make a smaller plushie. So this is a pattern that I did. You can kind of see the size comparison there, and then this is the size. So relative size, he is about 4.5 inches tall versus 6. So as you can see, they come out a little bit smaller. If you want to do that, the easy way would be to just take your pattern, print it out, and then trace either inside, or if you wanted to make it bigger, just trace kind of around outside on both and just cut it out once you trace that. Also, if you want to make your own pattern, because I have done a chibi pattern here because this is how I like my chibis, but if you want to do a slightly different, if you want to make them more chibi, if you want to make it less chibi, if you want to just create your own, or if you have a particular character that you want to do who maybe isn't humanoid, then you can always just draw your own pattern out like I have done here and then just cut it out and use it the exact same way. So once you have it cut out, I'm going to use my smaller pattern here just so it's easier to fit. And then I have just a small piece of felt cut out to the size that I need. What we're going to do is, the easiest way to do this for me is just to take pins and just line it up and safety pin it, or not safety pin, pin it to the pattern and then cut around the outside. However, if you wanted to, you could also take something like a marker and then just hold your pattern down and just kind of lightly trace around it, if my marker will work. There it goes. Okay. Lightly trace around your pattern, and then once you get all the way around, you'll have a little line that you can just follow and cut out. If you don't have pins, or if maybe you're worried about poking yourself with these pins as you're trying to cut, I have definitely done that, then tracing it gives you exactly the same result. So on a side note of that, you'll notice that this color that I have here is kind of a skin color. It almost matches my own. So this is what I have used for characters, for a lot of my character plushies that I have done. But you'll also notice that if you wanted to do a different skin tone, it is perfectly easy to just swap in whatever skin tone your character needs. You can go literally any color of felt that you can find. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is your possibility of doing an armature. So for that, all that we need is wire. So this is just very easily bendable craft wire that I just happen to have lying around. Pipe cleaners also do work if you happen to have pipe cleaners around. The only thing is, depending on the thickness of your felt, you can kind of see, actually this is not a bad color to see, but sometimes you can see through a little bit of the color. So depending on how closed your plushie is, you may be able to see through if you use a color that's very different. So for this, all I like to do is just, pull a bit out and just kind of give them a neck. And then what I personally do is just follow kind of the lines of my plushie and just bend it around, pull it down into the legs, and just give it kind of a very rough plushy body shape. It doesn't have to be precise at all because you are not going to see this. So once we get to the end, I just have pliers here, built-in wire cutters. So we just snip off that. And then you can kind of see how it vaguely lines up. So once you get that done, you just have to twist the neck together so that it holds your body shape more or less, and then you just start twisting to keep your straight lines. Basically, you're just forming what are essentially bones for your plushie. Now, the reason that we want to do this is because it makes our plushies posable, first off. So, for example, if I wanted to bend an arm here, I can do that. If I wanted to have him sit up, I can do that, and he will stay bent because of the wire. The other reason is that it gives them an extra little support on the neck. Because I have made my chibis top heavy, so their head is almost the exact same size as their body, the heads do tend to kind of wiggle and flop when you have them standing straight up. But with the little bit of wire in the middle, it gives them a support so you don't have that issue. You could always just, instead of doing an entire piece, maybe just put like a little stick in the middle, just glue it in there so that it gives them a little bit of neck support if you wanted to do that instead of a full armature. Otherwise, if you're just going to have your plushie sitting up against a bookshelf, you know, maybe have them hanging off of your backpack if you want to attach a keychain to them, there's no reason for that. If they're going to be straight, sitting straight up, hanging straight, doesn't really matter. They won't, if their heads move around it. They have a support either behind them or on top of them. So we just kind of twist that together to give our basic shape. And then once we have it, we can kind of refine that shape a little bit so, you know, you have it so it fits all of your spots in your body. And then what we're going to do is then, if you have, for example, imagine that this is your piece of felt. As you're sewing, you just kind of push it in, and then as you sew around your two pieces of felt together, you just put the armature inside and sew it essentially just into the frame, and then you can just stuff around it, and it will just kind of be in the middle. And then I'll show you more specifically how to do that in some of the next videos where we talk about actually putting together your pattern.